Hey everybody, Don here again, and welcome back to the paint shop. Video today is twofold. Well, really threefold. I want to tell you a little bit about what's been going on here at the channel, and tell you about a couple big announcements and some big changes. So let's start off with what's been going on. So you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, that about 2.5 months ago, I took up the hobby of painting lures with an airbrush, something I had never done before, and I have been having a blast with it. You recall I painted up really seven lures. The first one I screwed up the True Coat on, ended up scrapping, but I ended up painting up 6 lures, different lures with different patterns, and I gave one of each of those away. Now, well, let me show you the lures up here on the wall. So here were the first 6 lures that I painted to give away. First one was the Clown Jerkbait. Second one was the Crimson Crappie Lipless Crankbait. The third one was the Sexy Shad Deep Diver. The fourth one was the Flashy Tailed Spook. Fifth one was my version of a Fire Tiger 110 Jerkbait. And last but not least, the square bill in my version of a bluegill. So if you were lucky enough to win one of those lures, remember, take that thing out, fish with it, and if you catch a fish and you take a picture of the fish with the lure in its mouth and send that to me via email or text, I will enter you into the big end of the season giveaway, which the prize for that is going to include one of every other bait that I painted during this session, and this big glide bait, which I will paint up in the winner's choice of patterns. Now, I just happened to paint this one up in a perch pattern, and I think it came out pretty cool. But I will paint whatever pattern the winner asks me to do, or at least I'll try. So let's get on to the big announcement. You know, when I started painting lures, I said this is never going to be a business. It's like YouTube for me. It's just going to be a hobby to keep me occupied, especially during the winter months here in New Hampshire, when we didn't have good ice for ice fishing and there wasn't much I could get out and do. I was still recovering from a ruptured Achilles, and so this just happened to be the perfect thing to do. But I have been receiving such amazing feedback from family and friends, and you guys as well, on the lure painting videos, and I was having so much fun with it that I took some of these lures down to my buddy Bobby's shop. Bobby is like my brother from another mother, and he owns a Smith River Trading Post, which is a small mom and pop, basically an archery shop here in town, but he sells hunting gear, he sells fishing equipment and whatnot. And I think I showed him this bait, and the Sexy Shad. And he was like, man, Don, you got to bring some of these lures down here so we can hang them on the tackle wall and sell them. And I said, yeah, I can do that. But I had a problem that I had to address first. So I think I've showed you guys this before. When I get these lure blanks, this is a 2.5 square bill. You can see the imperfections and defects in the bill. And the bill is the only part that does not get painted. And I couldn't see my way clear to sell a lure that had a bill that looked like crap. So what I was doing is I was taking steel wool and I was roughing up the bill really well until it was practically opaque. And then I would put the epoxy on it. but there was another problem. So the True Coat epoxy that I'm using is a 2-part epoxy. And when I would put it on the bill, and you can see on this one, along this edge here and along the top, the epoxy would puddle up and kind of separate from the edge of the bill. And yeah, it just doesn't look right. Now, these first 6, well, really 12 lures that I'm painting, I've given them away. So, okay, no big deal. Although it's not representative of what I'd like to think the quality of my work can be, it is what it is, and they were free. So, but if I was going to sell lures down at Bobby's shop, I just wouldn't feel right selling something that had a defect like that. So I belong to this Facebook group called the Custom Lure Makers Business Group. And I just threw out a question. I said, hey, I'm having this issue with True Coat on the bills of my baits. Does anybody have such an issue? And if so, does anybody have any solutions? And I got a boatload of advice back. And, you know, it ranged on both sides of the gambit. Some guys said, why are you even putting epoxy on the bills? It's not required. The function is not going to change. That's why I just told you why I wanted to do that. I mean, if I'm going to put something in a package and expect somebody to buy it, I want it to look good. I don't want it to have that kind of an imperfection. And then I had a bunch of guys just say, well, try this, try that. Some said the bill was not cleaned properly. And but one guy in particular, his name's Dave D'Amico. He reached out to me via a private message. Dave has a website called Wrecked Customs, WREKKED Customs. Does fantastic work, great painter. And he came back and he said, listen, this is the answer to your problem. This is Rust-Oleum 2X Gloss Clear. It's just a spray clear. And he said, rough up your bills like you've been doing and give the bills 2 or 3 light coats of that, let them dry overnight, and that'll take care of the issue. And it has. Bear with me. Here is a lure that I've done that on. And you can see the bill is nice and clear. Now, the other thing that I was concerned about, especially on something like this Sexy Shad, which has this long, extended, deep diving bill, my concern was that the True Coat adds a lot of volume. And is that going to mess up the action of the lure? I don't know. Probably wouldn't affect something as short as a square bill, but I just didn't know, and I haven't had a chance to fish with them yet. So guys that are getting these lures and fishing with them, I hope they can tell me. But the nice thing about this coat is that it does not add any volume. It gets rid of those imperfections, gives you a nice shiny bill, but it doesn't add any volume. Nice looking lure, huh? You'll have to check out the new channel to see the paint job on this one, but this is one of Karen's very favorites. So anyways, with that problem solved, I said, yeah, I am going to I'm gonna sell some baits down at Bobby's shop. So I got a sticker made. This is actually a round sticker, but there'll be one of these in each package. I got some packaging and some business cards, and we are going to hang these up on the wall down at Bobby's shop. Now, that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is that I have decided to break this off to a second channel, and that is going to be called Ragged Edge Lure Works. And Ragged Edge Lure Works is going to be dedicated to lure painting and eventually lure carving and painting. And maybe I'll even get into soft plastics. We'll see. But that's why the name Ragged Edge Lure Works and not Ragged Edge Painting or whatever. So yeah, we're going to start that new channel. That'll launch probably a week, maybe 2 weeks after this video post. So I hope you guys that are interested in lure painting will go over and check out that channel and hang out there. Also, I'll still be doing all my shed hunting, hiking, especially kayak fishing. I mean, the season's coming right up. Kind of the reason why I did this was with all the other outdoor activities I'm doing on this channel, trying to squeeze in the lure painting just was going to be too much. So I thought it would be good to break them off into two separate channels. So those are the two big announcements. Starting a new channel and starting a new business. Now, do I think this little cottage industry business, I think is how I have it registered here in New Hampshire, do I think that's ever going to provide another revenue source? No, not really. But if it can contribute to my newfound addiction to paints, that's good enough. So hopefully we'll see you guys over at the new channel, and hopefully you'll stay here with the old channel. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you next time. Peace. All right, I've got 7 lures done for John on patterns he chose. A couple more on the drying rotisserie. Got some that need bill work done. And then here's my first load of inventory that's got to go down to the trading post. And more lures to paint.